This is 8K with 6x frame gen right now, getting us to 151 FPS. And granted, this is upscale from performance mode and low settings, but this is 8K, guys, on a 5080. Okay, all the system specs and everything you can see on the screen right now, but oh my god, it's actually kind of impressive. I've been playing with this for a while now, about 20 minutes, and getting 150 FPS even on low settings in Cyberpunk on 8K, it's kind of impressive. But you guys can see the imperfections of the 6x frame gen. Those paper pieces, look at that, it looks really weird with a lot of ghosting, but the quality, man, it looks super sharp. Because we are on preset M, seems to be the only way to make this thing work properly, and preset B on the frame gen override is a new option in the latest driver with beta options turned on. Otherwise you will not be able to do this. But 147, this is 8K, guys. That is the best part. Again, this is 8K. Even if I go to maybe quality mode, I don't know if this is going to be too much, but it might be a little too much. But yeah, that's way too much, because I think, but wait. So if you just give it a little bit of time, you can see it's 121 FPS on 8K, quality, low settings. Let me just hop in the car and drive around to see if you can find anything awkward. And so far, everything else looks pretty good, but look at behind the car. That's the only thing that I see really weird. You see that? Like, you see the shadows? They are not rendering properly, and you can see all the dust or whatever is happening behind the car. I don't know how to explain it. You guys can see it for yourself. But if you don't pay attention to that, if you look around the other side of the world, it's not that bad, you know? Again, this is still in beta, so if they perfect this, and I think the official version is coming out, the official driver with the proper support is coming out in April. As for a beta version of the thing, it is quite impressive. I don't think this is going to be possible without the 6x frame gen, because if I turn it off and go to, so over here you guys can see the settings that I've set to frame generations, preset B and A. B is the latest one with the 6x frame gen support, and the preset M for DLSS 4.5. So that's the settings, and I'm keeping it to fixed 6x. So if you go back to 4x, which was the maximum available that we had till now, if you jump back into the game, let's see how that's going to be, okay? On 8K, you're back in it again, and you can see, on 8K, the same settings. Now we are down to 100 FPS. It's upscaled from 25. Still not that great, because, we are like pretty much VRAM bottlenecked. You definitely need at least 24 GB to test this out. And this is another issue, sometimes it just turns into a white screen. I gotta all tab out and come back in to make it work again. There it is. But yeah, that's another issue that I've been seeing, especially on 8K. This is 4x frame gen, you're only getting like under 100 FPS. With 6x frame gen, we're getting 120 FPS. On DLSS quality on 8K, still really impressive. Look at the latency, 132. Pretty terrible, but can't do much about it, right? And we still have those weird artifacting or ghosting going on behind the car, so it's not ideal. Nobody should be playing games on 8K to begin with. The maximum you should be going is 4K, because beyond that point, everything looks as sharp as you can possibly see, And it's like extremely demanding, even on a 30, even on a 5090. So there's literally no point in going down to these settings. But if you go down to 4K and then set the graphics, keep it to quality, and using ray tracing overdrive, I'm gonna max it out, except screen space reflections set to ultra. I'm not gonna put it to psycho yet. You know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna put it to psycho. Whatever. So this is 4x frame gen. I'm gonna keep it on DLSS quality. It's 4K. It's really intensive, even on a 5080. This only has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. And with that enabled, you can see we're getting 120 FPS with 76 milliseconds, and upscale from 28 FPS. This is not terrible, but that artifacting stuff is gone completely from the shadows. It's really good. It's now playable. And I'd say for me, if you want to max out path tracing on this GPU, my recommended settings are 2x frame gen and DLSS performance, so that you get the minimum latency, and as well as really sharp visuals thanks to DLSS 4.5. But now you can see we're getting around 120 FPS with 4x frame gen, right? So I'm gonna quit the game again and come back with 6x. Apply 6x, okay? And I'm gonna jump back in the game. And we're back in the game. You can see from 120 FPS, we are all the way up to 200 with 66 milliseconds. That's insane. And since we are on 4K, we still got around 2 gigabytes of VRAM memory to spare. So that we don't see insane artifacting like we did on 8K. Again, that 8K was just a test, just to see how far we can push the things. But on 4K, you can see it is playable on a 5080, like really playable. Double a high refresh rate with path tracing on DLSS quality. That's insane, guys. So if I were to go to performance mode, again, this is path tracing maxed out. Not talking about on low settings. That takes us to 230 FPS with 3 GB of VRAM left in the tank with 59 milliseconds. So this is really smooth. Even on a keyboard or mouse, the response time is instantaneous pretty much. I don't know why it's still really CPU intensive on 4K with path tracing maxed out and everything. I don't know. But anyways, 200 FPS, guys. And that too in Dogtown? Come on. You gotta give it to DLSS 4.5. I'm not supporting DLSS 5. But 4.5 with 6x frame gen, you can do some crazy shit with it. So let's see now without frame gen how it's going to be on native quality. Okay, I go to settings, turn it off, and that just kicks it down to 59, like 60 FPS. This is still playable. You don't actually need any frame gen. But you can see the difference is pretty obvious. One in the case of the FPS, and the other one is the latency is 60 milliseconds. It's like kind of the same as it was with 6x frame gen. So you're actually like maintaining that kind of input latency, but getting like 6x the frames. So, and now I can feel that 60 FPS gameplay, not 60, 50 FPS gameplay. This is still playable, but yeah. And if you're on quality mode, you're getting 165 FPS with 6x frame gen, guys. In quality mode, that kicks it down to 35 FPS maxed out on a 5080. It's now scaled from 1440p, but you guys get the idea. So from 34 to 165 with 6x frame gen, that is a massive jump by its own. So yeah, that's a really good technology right there. And I really want to see how it's going to be on 1080p. Yeah, I like to see like really maximum numbers, so I'm just going to reduce the size of the overlay because this is way too big. I'll go back in the game. 1080p. I am just really curious, guys. So I'm gonna put it on ultra performance. I know this is crazy. I'm gonna put the frame gen back on again, so I think it should work now. Ultra performance, and I'm gonna use low settings. Let me see if we can get to 1500 FPS. That's gonna be insane. Because the last time when I checked it with 4x frame gen on low settings on 1080p with this card, we're getting around 800 FPS. So with 6x, it should be over 1000 FPS easily. Let me see. 900, okay. It's upscaled from 147 FPS to 900 FPS. So not quite 1000 FPS, but 900 FPS on 1080p is absolutely wild. Got nothing else to do. Maybe we can make it to 1000 if we just look up in the sky. Yeah, there you go. 1000 FPS, guys. And it's upscaled from 175 all the way to 1060 FPS with 6x frames in. That is insane. Again, this is 1080p. Oh, hell no. Nobody gives a shit. Oh, wow. Seeing 1000 FPS in Cyberpunk, I don't care what setting it is. Just seeing that is insane. So with a 5090, you can basically play it on 1000 FPS on these settings easily. Even on 1440p, you might be able to play it, you know? Let me see the 1440p settings then. 1440p, the same ultra performance settings, that will get you to almost 700 FPS. So you get an additional 200 FPS on 1080p. Yeah, on 1080p that was upscaled from 240p, you know. And this is now upscaled from, I don't know, 360p, I guess. We're getting 700 FPS, upscaled from 112 FPS. Absolutely wild, man. You know, it's just a fun experiment, my first impressions type of video. And I am kind of intrigued. I'd like to see how it's going to be when the game actually natively supports it. Right now it's just a beta version and so far pretty good. I'm liking this. So let me quit the game, come back in it with dynamic frame gen. So I'm gonna keep it to 120 FPS just for now. Keep it to 6x frame gen, apply that, We go back into the game again. Okay, for the dynamic frame gen to be effective, you need to make the card struggle a lot more so that we won't be getting 120 FPS without the help of frame gen. That's the idea. You know, if you're basically getting 120 FPS base, and there's no point in having the frame gen option anyway. So what I'm gonna do is keep it on 1440p and then go to graphics and max it out on ray tracing overdrive and go to DLAA settings. Okay, I'm pretty sure on base settings you're not going to be able to hit this. So with frame gen we should be seeing it capped to 120 FPS. Let me see. And we'll be also noticing the latency meter, because if it's switching from 4 to 6x or even 3 to 4x or whatever, the latency might be changing a little bit. So let's see. And 115 FPS, upscale from 39. So there you go. Like, it is hitting 120 here and there, but right now it's 110 FPS, 62 milliseconds latency. I'm keeping an eye on that. D7. So I think it's fluctuating back and forth between different frame gen presets, because it's 120 and 130 now. I think it's using 6x frame gen right now to get it to 140. And I think like it's using 4x frame gen to basically keep it to, you know, somewhere around 110 to 120. And then when it's actually needed to hit that 120 FPS, it's going to kick it to 6x, because now the latency goes up to 70 milliseconds instead of 65. So it is technically working, is what I'm seeing. But it's not capping it to 120 FPS. Upscale from 37 FPS, 38, 36, jumping back and forth. So I'd say it is working, you know. We might need to go to 4K, I'm not gonna lie. 4K might be a little too much, because I don't think it's gonna be able to push it all the way to 120. So we're getting 67 FPS here with 6x frame gen. It's upscale from 12 FPS, which is terrible. You guys can see everything is in slow motion. Look at that. With 330 milliseconds latency. It feels like we're in the Matrix. But it's managing to get us to 65, 70 FPS though, with dynamic frame gen.
The fuck was that supposed to be?
Shut up, Johnny. So 70 FPS is managing to 70 FPS on DLAA native 4K with path tracing. It's kind of crazy on its own, I'm not gonna lie. But it is absolutely terrible. As you can see, everything is going crazy because basically we are maxing out the GPU. You can see that 100% maxed out with 15 point something gigabytes used. No, this is a terrible idea, you know. 4K native, definitely not a good idea, even with dynamic frame gen. If you go to quality mode, which is now basically upscaled from 1440p, now it's giving us the same kind of experience that we had on native 1440p. So I don't think the 5080 actually needs 6x frame gen to begin with, because it's already pretty good with even 2x or 3x frame gen. Even 4x is kind of too much extra. Can pretty much run any game on 4K with a little bit of upscaling and 2x frame gen. You get a really playable experience. But the implementation so far with the 6x frame gen is looking pretty good. You know, not saying it's the best thing ever. It definitely has those artifacting issues and all of that, especially these paper pieces and all of that. And again, this is just Cyberpunk. In different games, it's going to be different. I will be testing out pretty soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that too. That's initial impressions. Look at this. Look at those paper pieces. It disappeared. You can see all the trails behind it. It looks really bad. Not as bad as when it was on fixed 6x. But it's still pretty terrible. Look at that, right? Rather than that, you don't see a lot of artifacting, like especially if you go next to this character. I don't see any halo effect or anything around him, you know. So all looks pretty good. But yeah, I think for the dynamic frame gen thing to work properly or have a proper test on it, I need to go to 5060 or something with 8GB VRAM. So that card actually is a mid-range card and it struggles on 8GB. So 6x frame gen might be more useful, but we'll be having to test it out soon. But on the 5080, man, 6x frame gen is just an added bonus. You don't need it unless you want to play Cyberpunk on 1000 FPS for some reason. or if you want to play it on 8K low settings, again for some weird reason. Other than that, I don't see any point in having 6x frame gen turned on a 5080, other than for the wow factor. So that's my initial thoughts on 6x frame gen on Cyberpunk and a 5080. I'm liking it so far, so I'm just gonna wait for the official release, the native release in the game, and also a native driver release from Nvidia. Again, I'm only hyped for this. I'm not hyped for no DLSS 5. DLSS 5 is bullshit. We don't support no AI crap, okay? But this is impressive. I wished Nvidia just focused on this, you know, getting this improved rather than stupid AI slop filter slapped across all the games. But man, that's what Jensen Huang wants to do. But yeah, whatever. That's it. That's the first impression kind of a video for 6x frame gen on the 5080 in Cyberpunk. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section. Are you liking it so far? Would you guys would be trying it out as well? Yeah, that'll be it. Hope you guys are having a great time wherever you are. If you find this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. And catch you guys in the next one too. Take it easy and peace out.